we're the Chaos System, and this is going to be just a get to know us because this is the first long form video on our channel. I'm Kai, I am the host of the system, and here's a little bit about me specifically, and then I'll get into stuff about the entire system. So, my name's Cairo, but I go by both Cairo and Kai. I mainly use he, they pronouns, but I also use ze, zim, it, its, and some neopronouns. My favorite color is green, and I have a fiance who is sitting over there playing games right now. So now about the entire system. The main fronters I would probably say are myself, Denki, Sero, Angel, and I can't really think of any others right now. But we are a fairly large system. We are 18 years old. We are currently living in Germany. We're American, but we live in Germany. We have 4 cats. Yeah, sorry about the way I talk. I have a hard time talking sometimes. Yeah. I generally, on TikTok, have not posted videos with my voice in it because of the fact that I struggle with talking. I have a minor speech impediment. It was worse when I was younger, but it's better now. But I also struggle with talking in general. I'm trying to think of what else to say. We like to read, and we really like the show House, along with The Big Bang Theory, Brooklyn Nine-Nine, The Rookie. But we're not 100% sure what we're going to do with this video, so it might be all sorts of things. It might be, not this video, sorry, the channel. It might be, it'll probably be based around the entire system, because that's kind of just how things always end up being with everyone fronting at different times. You'll probably see videos posted by different alters. But, you'll probably see content about DID, but also about other stuff like BPD, autism, ADHD, and also stuff that's away from the disorder side of things. You'll probably also see stuff about therapy, queer stuff, and stuff like that. So we're probably going to post about 1 video a week to start off, just because of the fact that it takes a lot of mental energy for us. But we wanted to start trying to make more long-form videos. So other than that little introduction, I'm probably just going to kind of wing this video. It's kind of just gonna be about kind of a little bit of everything. So, let me see. So I think for this video, we're probably going to focus on DID and our personal experience with it. So we are not medically diagnosed. That's something I want to say at the beginning of this, but we did research on it for about 6 years before we even started telling people, because we only started telling people about it this year, and we started researching it when we were 12. Because when we were 12, the host at the time, Tobias, had come across the term DID and systems, and had an online friend who was a system. And after hearing about it a lot, started seeing similarities, started seeing similarities between us and systems. The fact that the main thing that made him think about it was the fact that there were multiple of us present. But we did lots of research on it. So let me explain what DID is. DID, or dissociative identity disorder, is just that, a dissociative disorder. But it forms between the ages of about 0 to 9. At least that's what it was. That's what the official ages were when we first started researching it. I think they may have updated the ages, so do not take my word on that part for this. And it forms due to severe and or prolonged trauma, more often prolonged, at a young age. Because during early childhood, children don't have one consciousness, as it were, or one complete personality. They have what's called ego states, which can be happy, sad, angry, hungry. Think Inside Out. It's kind of like that. And with normal development, as the child ages, those ego states form into one complete personality. But with DID, because of the severe trauma, it places barriers between the ego states, amnesia barriers, causing them to be unable to form together and form separately into different alters. DID is also a covert disorder. Basically, one of the points of the disorder forming is literally the brain trying to protect itself from the trauma. So generally, the host and most of the alters might be unaware of the rest for a very long time. In fact, some people go 20, 30, even 40 years into the life before even discovering it, and probably some people never discover it at all, that they have it. But basically, the point of it is to hide trauma, to prevent you from knowing about it, because there's so much of it and it's so severe that one person couldn't properly handle it. Yeah, but as for our personal experiences of it, so Tobias was the one who first discovered we were a system, and he was the host for a very long time. I only became the host early this year. So I had been there and I'd been in and out of fronting, but I was completely unaware of the rest of the system. So Tobias had talked to some people about it before I knew about it, like some people outside of our system about it, and he had actually told our partner at the time about it. But then I became the host, and I was fronting almost constantly for about a month. When our partner at the time had told us that they had DID. And after I had been the host for a little while, I talked to them and was like, hey, can you tell me more about DID? I think I might have it. And they told me, what do you mean you might have it? You're the one who told me about it. You're the one who told me that you have it a long time ago. And I was like, no, what? And they asked me to scroll back through our chats, and that's where I saw all the texts between them and Tobias. And I had been entirely unaware of the rest of the system until that point. And I still have issues with communication with the rest of the system, even now, as I, for the most part, cannot hear the other alters at all. The rest of the alters can hear each other pretty well, and when they're fronting, they can hear the other alters, and they have pretty good communication in system. I am one of the few that struggles with communicating with the rest of the alters. There's a few that I can hear, and it is mainly Angel and Sero. Those are the main two I can actually communicate with. Yeah, and so I front fairly often, but we also have other alters that front for different reasons. Like one of our alters, Tassie, she formed how long ago was it? She formed when we were younger, when we were about 13, because we had a babysitting job at the time, and she is our work alter. She would always take care of the kids that we babysat and everything. And when we started work at a fast food place, she also fronted for that, which actually resulted in multiple slightly awkward situations where she was friends with a fairly large number of our coworkers, and not just the ones we worked with directly because we worked in a food court. She was friends with other people who worked in like other establishments in the food court. But I only knew exactly 3 people that we worked with. It was our supervisor and then 2 of our friends that we worked with. But multiple times I had run into people that we had worked with, and I had no idea who they were, but they were talking to me like we were friends, and I was just like, what is happening? Yeah. But I laugh about it later, but at the time it was really awkward and I didn't know what to do. But it can also be a struggle with telling people about stuff like this. Because some people, especially people who are more educated, react fairly well and are perfectly fine and don't have any issues with it. Sometimes they have questions, but generally don't have issues. But then some people, generally those who are less educated on the subject, get very upset and can cause problems. We've dealt with both kinds of people, and the latter can be very difficult, especially if they are within your own family. Our mother, she did not take it well when we told her about it. She threatened to have us put in a mental hospital for it, which, by the way, that is not what systems need. Systems do not need mental hospitals. I do think that most systems, not most, all systems, I think all systems should see therapists because of how systems are created. Since systems are created through trauma, and you need a therapist to help you process stuff like that. But yeah, that's kind of the extent of what our opinion is with that kind of thing. But what else? Oh, being a system in dating, that is where things can get a little bit tricky because different alters can have different preferences and everything. So, it is actually, so we're poly, but it's complicated with that. Because we have our fiance, and that is the person we love, that is the person we are spending the rest of our life with, and currently we are not dating anyone else, and we are not interested in anyone else other than in system. But so that's another thing, in system dating, but I'll touch on that in another, not in another video, but after I'm done with this. But so different alters can date different people. But one thing you have to remember when dating as a system is, well, yes, alters can have different preferences and date different people. They still all share one body, which means anyone you are dating, anyone in the system is dating, has to be okay with the fact that you are dating other people as well. There has to be that level of communication, which is why we mainly, not even mainly, just we only date people who are poly or who are okay with being poly. And so with us currently, we only are dating one person, and that's the only person we're currently interested in. If we were to date someone else, it would probably be someone that us and our partner were both dating. Or it would just be something casual that our partner knew about. But on to in-system dating. So that is something that is a little bit complicated because different alters might date inside Headspace. We actually have that situation happening where we have a few different ones. For instance, Spencer and Emma are dating, and then Dormouse and Alice. Dormouse and Alice, they're actually both fictives from a book we were writing, which is something I find I'm still it makes me laugh sometimes, the fact that we split alters from something we wrote. But basically it was an Alice in Wonderland alternate universe thing, but yeah, they're dating and Spencer and Emma are dating. Yeah. And I've met people who think that in-system dating is really weird, but personally I don't really see it. Let's see, what else? Oh yeah, with systems, the host can change over time. Which alters the host can change over time. Some systems stick with one host the entire time, some the host changes often. It really depends on the system. What else? I can't really think of anything else to really talk about, so I think I'm gonna end the video. But leave a comment on what you think our next video should be about, or any questions you want to ask, anything like you want to know about us, just ask and we'll answer it in the next video. Maybe we'll do like some sort of Q&A or something. But thank you for watching. I hope you've made it all the way through to the end. Please like and subscribe, and we'll see you next week. Bye!